Right then, it's posh nosh night, and that obviously is steak. Good old steak. How much has beef gone up in supermarkets? Anyway, so first off, we're obviously doing his own chips. Gotta make home chips with steak, none of that frozen crap. So so basically just chop your taters up nice and evenly, make them into thick chips, fat chips, thin chips, whatever you want. Just whack them in a bowl of cold water until you're ready, and that'll keep them nice and preserved. And here we are, looking spot on already. Now, because I've only got one bowl, I have actually just put them in drainer and dried them off a little bit, pat them down. But this is my mix. Obviously, start off with a little bit of oil, and then I've got like a Italian pizza herbs mix, which I like to add a little bit of that into my oil. And then on top of that, I've got a garlic and herb mix. Again, like to add a bit of that in, and then a bit of parsley. Just gives it that little bit of green dots here, there and everywhere. Makes your chips look a little bit posher than what they actually are. Anyway, just starting off, going to throw a few chips in, give them a good toss around, and then add rest of the chips in. Toss it around for a good few minutes. Make sure there's plenty of coating around every chip. Obviously, you want that oil around everything. There's not a lot of oil in there when you compare it to, obviously, deep fat frying it. But basically, what oil you're going to be using here, we're also going to be using for a steak. So, as marinade here is bang on for a steak. Now, look at that. Perfect. So, anyway, just whack them on a tray. This is just obviously a standard tray, baking paper on top, and we've got his oven set to about 210, 215, and all we're going to do is just whack them in, and we're going to cook them for around about 40 minutes. We don't need to turn them over, we don't need to whisk them about. The only thing I would recommend you do is just turn your tray around, maybe halfway. So anyway, a steak's already been out at fridge, so it's room temperature. I put it in the bowl where I've already mixed up my chips and just added a little bit extra of the herbs. That's just going to give it that little bit extra flavour, and we're just going to leave that to rest now. Now, having a quick peep at his chips, they're coming on nicely. And as I said earlier, this is the best way of cooking chips. We are having to use a deep fat fryer. But we are going to be using Tefal to cook a steak. This is the first time we're going to be cooking steak on this, by the way. So is it going to turn out to be a mistake? Who knows? But anyway, let's crack on. It says all you got to do is put your steak in, close it down, and it'll be intermittently throughout the cook. I think I've made a mistake already. I've got it set to manual. I think I had it set right, and then for some reason it flipped to manual, and now I'm cooking what is showing as a medium to well done steak, which isn't a problem. It came out and it looked absolutely fine, and as you can see, there's still plenty of juices in there. It's dripping like no right. So I am just going to sit this aside for a good 5 minutes and just let the juices drip out of it naturally, let it bleed off a little bit. I have filmed this after and I've swapped it plates again just to make it look better, but yeah. Anyway, it's time for them chips. Look at these beauties. Now, they've come out absolutely bang on. You just honestly ditch your deep fat fryers, do them in oven every time. Even air fryer don't do them this good. In your oven, spot on. So now I'm just going to plate it up, and for some reason the steak has taken the shape of a rabbit. But anyway, we're just putting his chips on, and then we're going to put a few peas on. Now, I ain't showing you how to make peas because I'm assuming that you're capable of using a pan and a bit of boiling water. So anyway, here we go. Bit of salt, bit of vinegar, and that is it. Posh nosh food, steak night, homemade chips and peas. what an absolute bang on meal tonight. So let's crack on with his cut test. Obviously, I was explaining earlier, we didn't quite get that red ripple in middle that we wanted, but it were juicy as hell and it cut perfect. I mean, I'm barely putting any effort in there. So that's budget blown for week down on that steak. So if you can, like and subscribe, so then we can afford more of them sort of meals. Yeah, cheers.